Hi, I'm Dr.S.SUJIYA, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Applications at Dr. SNS Rajlakshmi College of Arts and Science. In Series 6 video, I'm going to discuss is about API analytics. API analytics is insight-driven results which gives a real-time data insight on the ecosystem, applications, consumptions, performance, and usage metrics to get an end-to-end program visibility. And it is a continual process of collecting, analyzing, and visualizing data. Edge API Analytics helps your API team improve their API and helps app developers improve their applications. It manages risk with real-time operational metrics-driven decision-making to protect the API program from cyber attacks, and it improves the customer experience by building better relationship with customers, that is, developers and the API consumers, and drive decision based on the data insight, that is, measures engagement and API performance. Next, it monitors the KPIs, that is, tracks and measures API use across products, applications, channels, and location. And the API analytics team works with the API team, the application developers team, and then the Ops team, and next is the business owners. Here, the API team is tapping into an internal system to create an interesting API. The API team wants to know how the API program is doing overall, how individual API are doing, and how to improve their APIs. And app developers is by sharing analytics information with the app developers, you get better applications. These developers are innovating with your API and building creative applications that help driven revenue to your enterprise. And Ops team is want to understand the traffic patterns and anticipate when to add backend resources or make other critical adjustments. Then the business owner wants to see how their API investment is paying off and when to invest API dollars in the future. Then what kind of data is collected during analytics? API analytics collects and analyzes a broad spectrum of data, that is response time, the request latency, then the request size, the target errors, and API product name, developer email address, app name, and many others. So these are the data which is being collected for analyzing the API data. This is the analytic dashboard, where in dashboard the things that are being included are the total traffic, traffic success, traffic errors, and average TPS. So total traffic is the number of API requests received by Edge by an API environment in an organization. The traffic success is the total number of requests that results in a successful response. And traffic error is the total number of all API requests that are unsuccessful. And the average TPS is the number of API requests and resulting responses per second. Next, the API stakeholders are the API providers, API customers, the consumers, and the end users. API providers build, expose, and operate APIs, whereas API customers makes a decision to buy the use of an API, and API consumers develop app that uses API. End user don't use direct API, instead they use API indirect via the applications that is developed by API consumers and provided by the API customer. API metrics and reports are: the API monitoring is a continuous process of observing, testing, and analyzing API to ensure that they are available, performing optimally, and functionally as intended, and this process includes tracking various API performance metrics such as uptime, response time, error rate, and throughput, and validating that the API endpoints are returned to the correct data. And API allows to detect performance issues before they impact users, identify and fix the errors promptly, and it ensures SLA, that is service level agreements, are being met, and provides insight into usage patterns and potential areas for improvement. So these are the key performance metrics that has to be tracked, that is availability, response time, error rates, usage statistics, and latency. Publishing and sharing an API is: publishing API allows you to create, read, update, and delete content programmatically. It often used in content management system. And the key features are the CURD operations, that is create, read, update, delete operations for managing content. Authentication, that is for success access to the API. Versioning is managing changes over time to ensure backward comparisons. Webhooks is the notify external services of change to the content. Sharing API is typically allows user to share content across different platforms or servers. The key features are the social media integration. Next is the URL generation. Next is the analytics. Next is the customizable sharing options. This is customizable sharing options. And the use cases here we use the blogs and websites and e-commerce sites and also applications that has been integrated sharing capabilities for user-generated content. Then the API governance is the framework of set of practices that makes greater API. It helps ensure your API are complete, complement, and consumable. So the API governance was based on the discoverability, complete consistency, and complaint. It is reusable and it is secure and it is collaborative. Thank you.